Hey guys, Martin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so tomorrow we are going to get the Dokkan Now special for Global pre-anniversary. And we saw today, because the stream has been scheduled, or the premiere, I should say. We said this about Tanabar, right? It's not a stream, it's a pre-recorded video, so it's a premiere. Has been scheduled, and therefore people are able to check the data of the premiere, because it's obviously listed on YouTube as an event that's going to occur. And you can see here from this post, it has been determined that this video is 22 minutes and 16 seconds long. So potentially there is going to be a lot of information in this video. It does come out at 3 AM UK time. So this video should be going up at 6 PM UK time on Wednesday the 3rd. Which means if you're watching this video as soon as it goes up, this Dokkan Now special is in 9 hours from now. So the reason why I wanted to make a video about this in the first place is the fact that they have said, which was a bit of a surprise, I honestly didn't expect it and said as much on stream earlier in the week, that they are going to be mentioning stuff to do with the sync, and they've also mentioned that there will be global exclusive information. So very, very interesting. Now, a lot of people have been speculating about what that global first information could be, and so that is something that we are going to talk about in this video. Some of it is definitely cope, some of it is well beyond the realms of possibility, I think, but then at the same time, as we often say never with Dokkan, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that we never thought would happen that did eventually happen. So at the end of the day, I would say almost nothing is impossible. So we are going to go over some of the potential things that we could see that people have mentioned. There probably are more possibilities as well, but way too many to fit into one video, I imagine. So first of all, we're going to jump into one of the most popular opinions that I've seen, which is that Global could be getting Cell Max early. Because of course, Cell Max is a Super Bosses unit, a Super Bosses leader, wants to be run on a Super Bosses team, and Broly, for part 1 of the anniversary, introduces the Super Bosses category, or at least did on JP, of course. Global got it when we got Rose early, but Broly is a Super Boss character with a Super Boss leader skill. His banner unit is Golden Frieza, who is a Super Boss's support unit, and then of course the part 2 Dokkan Fest LR is Beast Gohan from Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and the Gammas, of course, as the Carnival LR, who fight Cell Max. So Cell Max perfectly fits the theme of the celebration. In fact, many people speculated that Cell Max would be the part 2 Carnival LR to go alongside Beast Gohan when it did eventually turn out to be the Gammas, of course. So this guy being added, I've seen so many people say, like, Cell Max as EX part for the anniversary. And whilst I do think that there is a decent likelihood that this could happen, I'm on the fence about whether I want it to happen or not, right? Because on the one side, I really want Cell Max. He's awesome. Very, very good unit. And of course, you know, if you pull Broly, you pull Golden Frieza, or like you've already got Rose, and like he's such a great addition to the Super Bosses team. So I really want him in the game as soon as possible. The downside, and this applies to a couple of the other options that we're going to talk about coming up as well, is that adding another banner to the end of the anniversary, when you think about what that really means, it's another banner that you have to spend stones on. So if you're somebody who your plan was to maybe do some summons in part 1, maybe not, and then you're going all out for Beast Gohan, chances are, like, depending on what your luck is like for your summons, you're potentially going to have used up most, if not all, of your stones by the time the Beast Gohan banner drops. And then this guy would then come out like a week or so later as another banner that you need to summon on. Now, as a yellow coin LR, he would have a pity banner, but if you get unlucky, even with getting like the odd SSR, like the guaranteed SSR every multi that you could potentially trade in for extra pity coins, it still costs, if you have to go to pity and you don't get tons of extra SSRs, it's like 700 stones worth of summons. Because if you traded in 0 SSRs, like if you have a newer account and you're not getting a bunch of SSRs you already have rainbowed and can trade in, to get all the coins, it's 1,000 stones worth of summons. Now, on average, it can be around 700 stones worth of summons if you're trading in a bunch of these extra SSRs. But, like, how many people realistically are going to be at the point where after summoning for Beast Gohan and potentially the Gammas, they still have 700 plus stones left? So, whilst it would be cool for him to come at the end of the anniversary, it's another banner to summon on. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but let me know what you guys think down below. The other option is, of course, Physical Topo. Now, Physical Topo, his celebration has been absolutely gutted. Like, the celebration that he got on JP, the only things that we don't have on Global as of right now is Topo himself and his banner, and then the sub-EZAs that came with him, which is Int Topo, Pride Troopers, Physical Ribrienne, Physical Super Saiyan 2 Saiyaman, and AGL Gotenks. And then I think they added some missions to one of the anniversary events. But that's it. So that on its own is like not enough to carry a celebration. So the idea that like he might not even have his celebration at all anymore because there's not enough stuff to make up a full celebration for him. So him dropping at the end of the anniversary would potentially make sense because he is a super bosses character as well. Despite the fact that he is a super type unit, he is a super bosses character. So he fits the theme of the anniversary. Global got the Ginyu Force right before the anniversary, who realistically want Topo to be out for them to actually be useful. So him coming out makes a lot of sense, but it also has the same issue as the Cell Max situation, which means it's another banner to summon on. Now, we know the lineup for the Part 1 banners already because they posted it when they made that thing about the tickets you could buy. So we know that they're not going to just add him to the Part 1 banner. They could, in theory, add him to the Beast Gohan banner, but I think that's very unlikely. They never usually change anniversary banners, and obviously they haven't changed either of the Part 1 banners because we already know the lineups, which means that Cell Max is obviously not going to be added as a featured unit on the Gogeta banner. He could be added as, what would be actually insane and probably the best outcome for Global, is add this guy to the Beast Gohan banner and add this guy to the Gammas banner. And then the value of those two banners skyrockets, and they're the Part 2 banners that people want to summon on anyway. But I don't know how likely that is, of course. But yeah, another banner to summon on, I'm not too sure. And of course, the final option, which is also another banner, is the Tanabata unit, right? Because for Global, Tanabata usually comes out in November. But the idea is that by the end of the worldwide celebration, the units will, the versions will be synced, which means that in November, whatever JP gets, Global would be getting. And then the Tanabata would have to drop like in the middle of that, which means a similar situation to what we're talking about here at the end of the anniversary, where you end up with more banners to have to summon on. So again, I guess there is the insane possibility that this guy gets added to Beast Gohan's banner, which would be nuts. Like Beast Gohan's banner for the anniversary, having this guy and Beast Gohan on it would be crazy. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see Goku come as part of the anniversary. But I mean, again, never say never, right? But I think this is probably the lowest possibility choice out of this entire video, is that we just get UI Goku at the end of the global anniversary, right? Now, the one thing that we could certainly see is we got a global first EZA once in the past when content that was going to come out at the end of an anniversary had come out early on Global, which was the free-to-play LR, AGL, GT Juniors. So Global got the Tech LR Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku EZA early. So I could definitely see the Global exclusive content being an EZA that comes to the game early, or potentially a Super EZA even. So a couple of options for that. Now, for some reason... I brought up the Dispo unit as well, because of course he was on Goku's banner. Because I guess the other weird issue is if Goku comes to the anniversary early, if he comes with his own banner, again, it's that issue of having another banner to summon on, but it would have Topo on it. Whereas if they added him to the Beast Gohan banner, which again, I think is very unlikely, I'm not sure what they would do with this guy, whether they would just put him on the Beast Gohan banner as well, and then we'd be losing like 2 featured units from the Beast Gohan banner, so... I'm not really too sure about that. But in terms of Super EZA, for some reason, I've seen a lot of people talking about AGL Rose recently, which I don't really feel like there's any hints in the game or anything that make it seem like this guy would be coming as a global first Super EZA. But you do have to remember that if you look at the dates here, he was a global first EZA. So the idea that he could be a global first Super EZA is definitely not outside the realms of possibility, especially because he's a Rose, and for whatever reason... They like doing early stuff for Rose, I guess, right? He got his EZA early on Global. Even though he came out first on JP as usual, he got his EZA first on Global. We got physical Rose first on Global. This guy getting a Super EZA as part of the anniversary, or like the end part of the anniversary, would actually be so good because he is an extreme class support unit and he's a Super Bosses character. So if you summoned on Broly's banner and you've pulled Broly, you've pulled, or you do have physical Rosé already, like having this guy to throw on the team as a floating support unit would be really, really good. And of course, Super Bosses is one of the themes of the anniversary. And the other interesting thing to think about with this is I don't think it would, if we were going to get one of the two by themselves, it would probably be this guy. But the interesting thing to think about is that you've also got physical Vegito Blue, who is kind of like the counterpart to Rosé, who was also a global first EZA. So imagine how crazy it would be if we got like these guys as a double super EZA, which I think that's definitely asking too much. If we were going to get one, I feel like it would be Rosé. But remember, this guy is also a superheroes character, which is the other part of the theme of the anniversary, right? So he could be run on the Gogeta team. I forget what Beast Gohan's full leader skill is, but I think he can run him on Beast Gohan's team. Does Beast have superheroes as one of his 170s, or is it plus 30? I actually can't remember off the top of my head, but superheroes is part of the anniversary theme as well. So like this guy could potentially get a super EZA. As I say, if it's one of the two, it's more likely to be Rosé, I think. But imagine if it was both of them. That would be wild. And then, of course, another candidate that I've seen people talk about is this guy right here, the AGL Super Saiyan Blue Goku, because technically he's Blue Kaioken Goku, but he's not named that way for some reason. He is a character that could potentially get a Super EZA as part of the Tanabata celebration on JP, which is going on currently. So he could be added in at the end of the anniversary for Global, which means by then I think he would have dropped on JP already, but then would have come out on Global very soon afterwards as like a little bonus thing at the end of the anniversary. And whilst that takes away a piece of content from the Tanabata celebration, that might work in its favour because the Tanabata celebration might be something they're having to squeeze in between other stuff on Global because it's coming out after the sync. So it's a celebration where, unlike Topo, who's now kind of jettisoned out into who knows where, the Tanabata celebration is a celebration where they could strip a bunch of that content out, bring it to Global early, and then they'd basically just be dropping the UI Goku banner as like a random thing on Global after the sync has happened. So this guy could be a good Super EZA. And the thing is, he's a superheroes character as well. So him getting an EZA as part of the anniversary still makes sense. He can still be run on those teams. He has Over in a Flash, so he's going to link up with Gogeta. Like, it works perfectly for him to get a Super EZA as part of the anniversary. Then we also have, a lot of people have speculated, this guy right here. These guys, interestingly enough, I only realised today, I guess because Frieza's on there, even though the unit is a superclass unit. They're not on superheroes, which is interesting. But these guys, of course, are a superclass unit. Reps of Universe 7 gets a ton of buffs during the anniversary of all the EZAs. It makes sense on JP as well, of course, because UI Goku. So this could be something just like the AGL Goku that happens as an EZA on JP, but then comes to Global early as part of the anniversary special, like EX part, right? Because these guys were the first LR to get an EZA, even though they were nowhere close to being the first LR that actually released. They were the first one to get an EZA. So they could be the first LR to get a Super EZA. I mean, it fits the theme, so certainly would be very interesting. Doesn't make as much sense for Global in terms of not being on superheroes, but as we said, the Reps of Universe 7 team gets a ton of buffs. We could even potentially see these guys get their EZA early on Global, because this EZA has just come out on JP. So as we've been saying with the previous two, some of the Tanabata celebration content could be what comes to Global early as the Global exclusive information, right? Because, I mean, it's not a Global exclusive in the sense that it's already out on JP, but it's Global exclusive to being part of the anniversary. So even though I guess people maybe would feel a little bit hard done by if the Global exclusive news was something that was out on JP already, it's still technically exclusive to Global for the anniversary. So they could kind of get away with that, right? And these guys getting an EZA would be super good because we get all of those Reps of Universe 7 EZAs during the anniversary. And these guys are also not on superheroes. So I'm not really sure what the distinction for why a unit's on superheroes or not, because maybe it's just because Frieza's there again. I'm not sure. In fact, let me find who have we got as the last one. Oh yeah, the last one is these guys, right? Because the Team Universe 7 got an EZA. These guys have not had an EZA announced on JP yet, but it could definitely happen. They're not on superheroes either. I wonder if, let me go to Reps of Universe 7 and we'll pick someone. No, because we know UI Goku is. Characters who are superclass, specifically from the Tournament of Power, are on superheroes. So I'm guessing it's just because Frieza is on those other cards. But there you go. There's a couple of the potential options. I mean, if we look at superheroes as a category, I tried to just pick out some of the characters that would make sense as a global first Easy A or super Easy A. LRs, I think, are definitely a bit less likely because we don't have an LR Super Easy A yet. But when you look at some of these characters, I mean, imagine if, like, in part 1, AGL Gogeta or Physical Broly, or even, like, well, Physical Broly's not a superhero, obviously he's a super boss, but imagine if they got a Super Easy A. That'd be nuts. Well, I think it's way too soon for that. So I tried to look at some that would be a little bit more likely, maybe like Blue Vegeta. We still don't have an INT or STR Super Easy A. So, like, this guy, he's on superheroes. He fits the theme in that way. In UI Goku, a lot of people would love to see him get the Super Easy A on JP. I still think it's a bit too new. We've had no category leaders get Super Easy A's yet, but that would certainly be interesting. Imagine God Vegeta and Tech God Goku as well getting a Super Easy A. This Kaioken Goku getting a Super Easy A, although of course he's much newer as well and is a double category leader. I think it's way more likely that this guy gets one instead. So in terms of most likely to least likely, I feel like this guy is probably like the most likely option for a Super Easy A. If Global gets a unit early, then I think it's more likely that we'll get Cell Max than Topo, just because he does fit the Super Boss's theme a bit more, even though Topo is a Super Boss character. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think the global exclusive information will be? I won't be streaming the Dokkan now because it is at 3 AM, but I probably will get up to just watch it, and then I'll record a video afterwards breaking down all the news and everything. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What would you like to see the global news be? What do you think it will be? Because, you know, you might think it might be something that isn't specifically what you want, but let me know all those thoughts down below in the comments. And of course, whilst this is not the main theme of the video, they are going to mention information about the sync. So what do you think that is going to be? Are we actually going to get a concrete date? Are they just going to show that roadmap image again? Who knows? But we will be finding out, as I said at the start of the video, in 9 hours from now. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.